He can do against Jacob Lively in the green-white Megamorph versus Jeskai Black matchup. Anderson, the number 3 overall seed, so he'll be on the play. Starts things off with a Polluted Delta. A forest into a Warden of the first tree is how Lively will get started, and our semifinals are underway. Anderson going to search up a Prairie Stream. So let's see what Todd's got for his second turn of the game. Picked up a copy of Seeker of the Way with his draw step. And there is the Seeker. Now, a card you don't feel is going to have too big of a role in this matchup.
I think it's going to be one of the first cards, if not the first card, Todd's sideboard's out. Green-white Megamorph is really good at gumming up the ground. Gaining life isn't that impactful against them. And so I think it's his weakest card in the matchup.
Flooded String going to be sacrificed. Basic Plains on the way. Warden of the first tree is going to level up. It'll make it deal 3 points of damage, and now we're going to head back Anderson's way here in just a moment. He'll take a draw. Picked up a copy of the Plains. And now here's a Silk Wrap. Very popular removal spell this weekend in Atlanta. Star City Games dealer booth sold out. Players were unable to find the number of copies they would have liked to play in their deck. I think this is going to be a staple moving forward in this format.
As long as Jace, Manus Rider, and various cards from Green-White Megamorph are the things to answer, I think that's the case.
Here's another copy of Warden of the First Tree. Anderson going to sacrifice that Polluted Delta. I think we're going to see some amount of red mana be found with this one. Perhaps a Smoldering Marsh on the way.
Yeah, he had Manus Rider in hand last turn. Couldn't curve out efficiently, so he had to play off curve for one turn. Wasn't that big of a deal because he still got to impact the board with the Silk Wrap, but I think now we're going to see a steady stream of Manus Riders.
Time for Anderson to take a draw step. Picked up a copy of Dragonlord Ochitai. And here is an attack with the Seeker of the Way.
I think that was just pretty sure that was just a naked bluff.
Love it. I am in heaven.
Not quite a naked bluff. Todd could have just got charmed, Lively, and traded.
All right.
But not what Todd would have wanted to do with the turn.
He also could have used Jeskai Charm to go +1/+1 and then Proust would have triggered, so 4/4.
It's
so
still not the turn he would look for,
yeah.
Exactly.
Here's an attack for 3. Anytime you can sneak something through, if it's a 1/1 into a 15/15, I'm on board. Oh, this again.
Might see Todd want to shuffle away that Warden.
With the fetch land on the stack, Jeskai Charm the Warden on the top of the deck. We saw him go for this against Barrett last round. He's going to let the fetch resolve. Canopy Vista, the weapon of choice here from Jacob Lively.
Yeah, this Warden really only starts impacting the damage race with the second activation. And at that point, I think Todd's happy with Lively using his 4th or 5th turn that way. This Jeskai Charm can be targeted on a much larger creature this turn.
There's the Hangerback Walker with Dromoka's Command, it feels, at the ready, or Valor Stance, some 2-mana spell. Charm will now put the Warden on top.
Yeah, at this point, pretty risky for Todd to try to do that to the Hangerback Walker as a Dromoka's Command ruins him.
Now there's Dromoka's Command. Fight the Seeker of the Way, put a counter on the Hangerback Walker. And that'll all resolve.
This is very good news here for Todd as well, as this opens up the opportunity for Manus Rider to resolve. Todd's been extremely patient trying to not get this hit by Dromoka's Command. Now he can really turn it on.
Now the question, of course, is when is this happening? Because is it happening once Prowess resolved with the Seeker of the Way? And it looks like it has. So those two are going to trade from the fight. A little bit of life will be gained for Anderson. Now it looks like perhaps we go that Mantis Rider route.
Looks like Todd is contemplating Treasure Cruise.
I guess he isn't underneath very much pressure at this point.
I think with Lively at 13, now falling to 10, having already used a copy of Dramoka's command, I like going for it here. Especially with Dragon Lord Ojutai in hand. If he draws a land next turn, he can put that into play. If he fails too, then he can cruise. So I like the setup a lot better.
Here comes Hangerback Walker from Lively. Anderson might be thinking blocker, or at least it feels kind of that way.
It seems so bad for the damage race, especially with Dragon Lord Ojutai in hand.
Yeah.
It seems like you just want this Hangerback Walker to just be a 2-2 on the ground.
Anderson will take the 2. And now, there's a Wingmate Rock. The game has changed. Lively falls down to 9 from the Windswept Heath. Plains the draw, and that'll allow for Dragon Lord Ojutai. Big draw there from Anderson.
Yeah, he was risking falling pretty far behind there if he missed on that draw.
We'll see what's next here for Jacob. Got a pretty good board at this point. Warden is a good way to add to it. There's a Forest. That was getting him close to 7 mana. He's got enough necessary mana to put Warden to the top rope, assuming everything breaks appropriately. We're also working our way into Nissa and flipping. If he has one of those in his hand, then Protector becomes a realistic option, be able to do a bunch of stuff in one turn. This is why the Megamorph deck is tough. There's Valorous Stance to take care of Wingmate Rock. And that's going to resolve. Anderson with a fetch land. He's going to sacrifice that. 6 cards in the graveyard for Treasure Cruise.
Shaping up to be a nice turn. Last card in Lively's hand, I believe, is Nissa. It is not Valorous Stance or Dramoka's command. And so Ojutai is going to get an attack in, and that's going to lead to 5 damage to Anticipate or a chump block, freeing up Mantis Rider the following turn.
Now Anderson will cast Treasure Cruise, so delve away the entire graveyard. Monastery Mentor. Crackling Doom among the draws here.
It's a nice turn here.
And deck is firing on all cylinders now. We saw it have a few hiccups earlier with Anderson on camera.
It's not been the case so far in this game. His draws in the top 8 were pretty smooth on the balance.
Yep. Ojutai is going to connect Mantis Rider, Monastery Mentor, and a Battlefield Forge are the options from the Big Dragon. And Lively's draw this game, actually a relatively good one, truth be told. Anderson's just kind of overpowered him a little bit.
You're seeing just the vulnerability in the sky. It doesn't happen every single game, but it does happen sometimes. I also think Todd just did an extremely good job of navigating the first couple turns of the game where he could have easily gotten blown out by Dramoka's command. He could have rushed some things. He picked his spots for sure.
Jacob looking at the graveyard there, seeing what's down there. Feels like a Den Protector may have been the draw.
But Den Protector doesn't yield much this turn, as Lively only has 6 mana. And I don't think Lively's going to get a next turn.
He's going to start with a Morph. Now here are the attacks. 6 damage, looks as though it's coming through. Pass the turn back. And he's going to quickly untap and draw. Sorin the draw. Jace will go active. Turn to draw and discard. Picked up a mountain. Monastery Mentor appears to be the discard.
And if my eyes don't fool me, I think Anderson has enough mana here and the right colors to Mantis Rider and Crackling Doom after the fact.
Even Mantis Rider plus Sword here might be good enough.
Yeah, this already requires something from Lively, and then he's Crackling Doom as backup.
Sure. Den Protector would unmorph, but that's not going to do it. Todd Anderson going to win game number 1 here over Jacob Lively. Jeskai Black up a game here over Green-White Megamorph as we get ready to take a look at the sideboards here for each player. And we're going to start with Lively and his 2 copies of Archangel Tithe, a Dragonlord Dramoka, 2 Evolutionary Leap, 2 Gideon's Reproach, a Master of the Unseen, 2 Tragic Arrogance, 2 Whisperwood Elemental, and then 3 Surge of Righteousness.
So Lively can go pretty big in this matchup. I like the copy of Master of the Unseen, the 2 copies of Gideon's Reproach, pretty good answer to Mantis Rider and Dragonlord Ojutai. I think Archangel Tithes could be strong in this matchup. Remember, no copies of Ojutai's command in Anderson's list, so expensive creatures are a little bit better here for Lively than they would against most builds of Jeskai Black. And Archangel Tithes is pretty tough to kill. I could see Whisperwood Elemental coming in for the same reason.
On the other side of things here for Anderson, he's got 2 Irrational Clairs, 2 Disdainful Stroke, a Dragonlord Salumgar, 2 copies of Exert Influence, a Hidden Dragon Slayer, Master of the Unseen, 2 Radiant Flames, 2 Self-Inflicted Wound, a Sorin Solemn Visitor, and a Stratus Dancer.
I like Todd going a little bit bigger in this matchup. I like bringing in the copy of Sorin. I like the 2 copies. I think Self-Inflicted Wound is okay here, probably not great, but I like going to things like Radiant Flames, Exert Influence, become just a big control deck.
Well, those are your options there for both players. Some pretty good options there. I think we'll see their decks, change quite a bit here for game number 2. Life will be on the play for game number 2. In our other matchup, if we have time to jump that way, we'll find out. Christopher Thomas with Green-White Megamorph is up a game very quickly here over David Mathis and his Jeskai Black deck. So that'll give you an idea of what's going on the other side of the table. For now, we're going to talk about the YouTube page here with Star City Games, where you can go back, watch the replays of this tournament, and become one of over 80,000 subscribers.
There's a lot of great content up there at youtube.com/Star City Games. A variety of archives like Versus Series videos, premium archives, open series archives, and content that's exclusive to the YouTube page, like unboxings. Again, youtube.com/Star City Games. Become a subscriber today and get notified when new content is uploaded to the page.
So an interesting question for you. Where do you think people go from here based off of this format? You know, the champion has been crowned yet, obviously, but we've got 2 Green-White Megamorph decks and 2 Jeskai Black decks in the top 8. Is there a natural place to go now?
I like the idea. There was I forget the player's name, unfortunately, but there was an Esper Dragons list in the top 8 of Indianapolis that had a lot of removal that focused on exiling, and I like the fundamentals of that.
Okay.
That's where I would go from here.
Complete disregard, utter end, stuff like that, horribly awry.
These decks are both pretty slow. They are not killing you that fast. You're going to have an opportunity to make your land drops. The issue is, you know, from the Green-White Megamorph deck, they can attrition you out with their various recursion effects, and Jeskai Black can tempt you out with some counter spells. So if you can blunt their initial offense, and if you happen to exile a lot of things along the way, I think you can get to a more powerful late game.
No, both these decks these decks really do like to work their way into the mid game and late game. Like they do have draws that can finish you off in the early game, you know, with Warden and Mantis Rider and stuff like that, but they're pretty comfortable in that mid to late game scenario.
Yep. But horribly awry, complete disregard. Counters like Clash of Wills, Reeve Soul, some sweepers. Feels like there's a base there to me. Some could be good.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where people go, what direction they go, because, you know, across these 2 decks, we have every color in the format covered. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the options are plentiful. We certainly do know that. And now it's just going to be what kind of innovations people come up with, because we know that the mana is good in the format and players can do a lot of different things with that. But this doesn't seem like an easy nut to crack at this point.
No, but, you know, we got more tournaments to come. I'm sure the Pro Tour will be illuminating. But this seems like a logical step 2 after what we saw in Indianapolis. And you also had to control for player quality. A lot of our best players were playing one of these 2 decks as well. So it's unclear how much of the edge is the decks and how much of it is, well, we have Tom Ross and Todd Anderson and Aaron Barrage playing, and they're among the better players in the room.
It's very true. It's very true. Jacob Lively will be on the play here for game number 2 with the Green-White Megamorph deck. Certainly a breakout thanks to Michael Majors' performance last weekend at the Open Series in Indianapolis. 2nd place there. Anderson will take a look at the opener, as will Lively. We'll see if these players are happy with their 7. Looks like Jacob is pleased. And Todd's good as well. So we're underway here with the Forest and a passing of the turn. Anderson will draw. Picks up a copy of Polluted Delta.
And looks like a very strong opening hand here for Todd, involving Jace and Silk Wrap, 2 important tools in this matchup.
There is Master of the Unseen. And that's an important tool for Jacob if we do go long enough. The life gain, I think, could be very important.
The life gain is critical. I was going to say, if I'm on Todd's seat, I'm not too worried about Mastery of the Unseen getting activated over and over again, because Lively already has an edge if the game goes that long. And Mastery of the Unseen does nothing to check flyers unless Lively happens to hit some particular cards. So the concern is, does he just gain so much life that you can't race and he just grinds you down with his better late game tools?
Jace is the turn 2 play there for Anderson. Does Lively have land number 3? Yes, he does. It's a forest. And now he'll go with Anissa, which will trigger. And he'll search for a forest. Back over to Todd will go. He picked up a copy of Soren. Now there's a Jace activation. Mountain was the draw. Discard is Polluted Delta.
And that's a huge draw because I think Todd was lacking red mana on time for Mana Strider like last game. So a huge, huge peel.
He's got it now. He's coming across here for 3 and already pressuring Lively in the air. Nissa coming into the red zone. Todd says, I'm taking that. There is a Plains. And Lively will just pass the turn back. So we head over to Todd Anderson, who will draw a card. Picked up another copy of Polluted Delta. Jace is here just to filter it out. So draw and discard. Bloodstained Mire the draw. We'll see what Anderson wants to discard. He'll go with the Mire that he just picked up. There's a Polluted Delta. Battlelands will enter the battlefield untapped here if Anderson wants to search one as he falls down to 17. There's a Smoldering Marsh. In for 3 comes Anderson. Search of Righteousness is going to take care of that, or at least attempt to. And we'll get the job done. Here's Soren. He's going to attempt to make a vampire.
So last turn, I think Todd did not run a block out of respect for Dramoka's command. Now that it turns out that one of the tricks was Surge of Righteousness instead, I think you might see Anderson try to trade here. Makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Here's a Flooded Strand, and here comes Wingmate Rock. So still a good turn here for Lively.
Oh, yep. Still great.
And I think he's going to search up a Canopy Vista here. Yep. Much like the first game, good draw. Jacob got overpowered in that first one. We'll see if he gets overpowered in this one. He's in a good spot right now, though.
He is not nearly under the same level of duress that he was in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually winning on the board right now. And he's got Mastery in case things bog down. So, so far, so good for Lively.
Plains the draw. Time for Anderson to draw and discard, which means that Jace will be flipping here momentarily. There goes Polluted Delta. Jace will start at 5. See where it goes. There's a basic Plains. There's a Silk Wrap to take care of the token. Going to cash in Soren. Jace will tick up.
Pretty good setup here for Todd.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad turn.
Rock can't attack profitably. And if something somehow goes weird, he can just charm that back to the top of the deck.
Yeah, the problematic thing here, I think, if you're Todd, is that you're working into a later game. If I'm Jacob, I'm feeling pretty good about things right now.
Yeah, if you can keep pressing your advantage on Todd, you'll take it in this spot. But with Mastery in play and the cards that are in each player's respective decks, Lively should feel pretty good about his spot.
Yeah. Just kind of going long, doing my thing. Going to activate Mastery right now in the main phase, it appears. Todd always looking to get tricky with that Jeskai charm.
Yes, he is.
He could make the manifested creature a wingmate rock. Put that on top of the deck. Your manifest trigger resolves, and you get yourself a wingmate rock, which is pretty unique. Yeah, that's an interesting interaction we haven't seen before.
Yep, and I don't think that Todd was going to do anything else with the Jeskai charm this turn, so might as well do that.
Yeah,
you're working with information about what it is, which is valuable with Mastery.
That's a really interesting interaction. What's next here for Jacob? He'll go with Jamoka's command. Use that to take care of the vampire, pass the turn back. Time for Anderson to draw. Crackling Doom.
Todd with access to yet another solid turn here. You can have a removal spell, play the Jace, take up.
It's a lot to like.
I don't know if it's on Todd's radar at all to be potentially building towards the ultimate on Jace. It is a way for him to keep up in the late game.
There is Jace.
I can already kind of see what's going on in Todd's head right now is if he pluses Jace, he's got the Crackling Doom in hand. Is there a chance he can get Lively to spend his whole turn unmorphing and then getting him with the Crackling Doom? I think Todd suspects that's not the case.
He's going to go up.
Oh, he is going up.
Yeah. He thought briefly.
I'm excited about this because, I've got a 1 power thing. He's got a 2 toughness blocker. I want to get in the air. Okay, I'll unmorph. Todd's definitely trying to make this attractive for Lively to spend his turn this way.
Oh, there's the attack.
Modern Premier IQ, your last result is in.
It's going to go after Jace.
Very soon, your standings and your round 8 pairings.
We'll see if there's an unmorph.
Yeah.
Do not spend too much time looking over standings.
You love it. You just can't get enough.
Yeah. All right, Lively's not pulling the trigger.
And I could appreciate that. He's not in the top 4 on accident. Good on him.
Todd put his hand down, wasn't shuffling his cards around. Oh, yeah.
I don't have anything. There's a polluted delta.
Someone who likes to get tricky, I could usually see it from other people when it's on their radar that I could really get this person right now. Puts the hand down, hesitates, asks how many cards are in Lively's hand, begrudgingly blocks with the Jace.
I guess I'll block.
It's your turn. I guess you're going to make a mastery token anyway. All right, I'll block. Yeah, I'll block.
Yeah, not fooled. Not fooled at all. Those are the fun parts of Magic right there.
Yeah, I love watching it.
Monastery Mentor was the draw for Anderson to go along with the Crackling Doom. They're going to get the Mentor now. We'll see how Anderson wants to use his Jace. I think he may have forgotten to use it, actually. Yep.
Well, not exactly. The problem is that if he uses it, do you have to target an opposing creature if there is one?
I believe so. We can take a look at Jace's Telepath Unbound. Up to 1 target creature.
Okay, so you can opt to target nothing.
You can target your own thing, too.
I was going to say, because then if he shrinks it, then he's not crackling dooming the Wingmate Rock he knows about.
Sure.
But it seems like there's probably a workaround there.
Jiroka's command there in response to the Crackling Doom is going to take care of the Monastery Mentor. Now Crackling Doom will resolve. That'll take care of the Wingmate Rock that was face down. Now the Mastery activation resolves. Now there's new manifest creature on the battlefield. That's what the battlefield looks like as we head back Jacob Lively's way. Jacob going through his graveyard, so perhaps what he manifested was a Den Protector. And it was. This is a big shift. He's going to get a Wingmate Rock back. Now here's an attack that no blocks can really be had here. We'll see if he wants to attack Jace or Todd. It looks like he's going towards Todd. But this is what we mean about this Megamorph deck when it's good early, middle, and late. Playing a long game here, and Jacob Lively's doing just fine.
And he's been ahead early on as well. It's not like he had to crawl back into the game to get to the spot. He was pressuring Todd the entire time.
Anderson's draw for the turn, I believe, was a land, and now his Jace has got to do some real work here. Both of them, maybe. Looks like Anderson's going to take down the Jace. Time to cast Crackling Doom, it appears. And then Protector can't be sacrificed fast enough. Lively have to take a little bit of damage here.
Modern Premier IQ.
And now you're going to get a Jace.
Raise your hand.
And Crackling Doom may have been the draw.
Round will be started very soon.
So old Jace down, new Jace here, starts on 5. And Lively wants to get a good idea of what Todd can flash back, if anything. Anderson. Going to flashback Jessica Charm to take care of the token, pass the turn backs, trying to whittle away everything here.
Yeah, the problem is this is going to leave him with very little in the way of resources. Is Jace is going to die, and now it's just mastering a bunch of lands against Todd playing off the top of his deck.
It's funny because Mastery was cast so early in the game, it doesn't have a large impact at the beginning of the game, but it certainly does near the end of it, and that's exactly where Jacob Lively has gotten himself to. That's why I think in this matchup, Todd's got to try to be the aggressor.
Yes.
I don't know if he can do it with Seeker of the Way because they gum up the ground so well, but he's got to try to not get in this position because I don't think a long game favors him. He doesn't even have stuff like Dig Through Time here.
He's only got a couple copies of Treasure Cruise in his list, so.
Quick update here for you guys as well on our backup match. Christopher Thomas, David Mathis. Thomas on Green-White Megamorph, Mathis on Jeskai Black. They're getting ready here for game number 3 as Mathis was able to tie things up. Anderson with a murderous cut, I believe, and also a Crackling Doom to cast this turn. So a couple spells will be played to try to get this board clear. Now the spells will resolve. Now here comes Monastery Mentor, which is a 3-power creature because 2 other spells have been played. Again, you can just kind of tell how this game is going because of the Mastery. And Lively's going to sacrifice the Flooded Strand here, go down to 8 and get a land out of his deck. You can just kind of feel that, you know, this sort of late game situation favors Jacob so much.
Yeah. And again, you know, it's not even like Lively paid a huge cost to get this kind of edge in the late game. Just one sideboard slot, something you can just put on the table on turn 2, and he's been reaping the rewards now for a while.
We go back over to Jacob. He'll attack for 2 here with his manifest. See, 8 mana is that sweet spot. There's a forest. Now he's going to sacrifice the Wooded Foothills, so he's got more to do.
I was about to say, Todd, you know, he could probably string together some burn spells and maybe steal it that way, but that's going to be hard to do because of potential life gain triggers from Mastery.
Yep.
Lively has to hit basically nothing but lands for that to come up.
There's Hangerback Walker for a relevant amount. 3 with the ability to activate Mastery of the Unseen. Somebody needs a Dragonlord Ojutai, Mantis Rider, maybe even Dragonlord Slumgar right now. Flooded Strand is not what the doctor ordered. There's an activation of Mastery of the Unseen. Lively quickly untapping. You can sense it. Looks like he might be taking this game. Ten mana here for the green-white Megamorph player. And the face-down card is a Hidden Dragon Slayer, and that is good enough here for Todd Anderson. Wants to see the morphs in the manifest very quickly. And Jacob able to show him off. So, Jacob Lively going to tie it up here against Todd Anderson. Green-white Megamorph and a Jeskai Black, just like on the other feature match, heading to game number 3. No surprise there, at least to me.
Matchup feels tight. We probably disagree slightly about who has a very lean edge, but the matchup feels very close.
I think I feel pretty strong about this, but just the longer you go, the worse it gets for Todd.
Oh, that I don't disagree. That's totally true.
Sure.
I think it's very important for Todd to be able to jump out to an early aggressive start. And Jacob has a lot of cards in his sideboard that make that more challenging. You know, he has cards like Surge of Righteousness and Gideon's Reproach he can go to blunt some of Todd's early offense. And then all that late game edge you're talking about, he can get to it. Game 1, he's got some kind of dead weight. He doesn't have nearly enough removal to fight in the air. And so not surprising for Todd to win game 1 and for Jacob to take the sideboard game on the play.
You see the sideboard options there for each player. Don't know if they're going to change anything up. Looks like they're already going back to the shuffleboard here and getting ready for game number 3. Anderson will be on the play. So in the meantime, we're talking about the Fall Creature Collection here with Star City Games. Just recently announced that we've got playmat sleeves and bundles of some of our later in the year game night favorites.
Yeah, this is the Fall 2015 collection, the October, November, and December game night stars here, the Hippo, the Otter, and the Reindeer, and of course, Penguillian Click. Available playmat sleeves, player bundles, StarCityGames.com/creature collection to get your items today, or head over to our dealer booth at any of our opens or any Grand Prix that we're at.
Just so fluid.
I had to think for a minute. It's like, okay, Vendilion Click. Okay, Penguillian Click.
Yeah.
All right, you can actually see me close my eyes and then my eyes bug out of my head as I'm saying it. It's just one. It's just focus, and Penguillian Click.
Bang.
StarCityGames.com/creature collection.
So easy.
It's not.
You were born to do this.
Yeah.
You were.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's true. My grandfather thought I was going to be governor.
Governor.
Now, you know,
Hello, governor.
selling play mats of cartoon animals. StarCityGames.com.
Well, you can still be the governor of that if you want.
That's not really what that means.
I can call you Governor Sullivan if you'd like to.
No, I'm okay.
Your call. It's your birthday weekend. Your call, man.
That is already well in the rearview mirror.
You know, I'm just gonna let you know. I did try to get a cake to like put in your face, but I talked to the people who have the equipment and they prefer that we didn't do that.
Yeah, I believe it.
And then I didn't really try very hard to find you like a birthday party hat, and I also just know you wouldn't wear it.
Yeah,
So-
no, I appreciate the cake. It's nice to know that the overriding concern wasn't the happiness or dignity of your colleague, but the safety of the
Well,
headsets.
the headsets aren't cheap,
No, they
so
aren't. I know that.
so I don't even know what you're trying to say here. They're not
Yeah.
cheap.
But birthday weekend, once you're like 8, you no longer have a birthday weekend.
You're horrible. You are.
I don't know what the age is.
You are horrible.
It's definitely not 34.
That's it. Just 8. That's it. Nothing to look forward to. No more birthdays
That's not
for
true.
me.
That's not true. It's not that there's nothing to look forward to. It's just we're not going to celebrate a thing that everyone has.
I understand. Well,
What are we celebrating here?
Well, if you'd like to ruin Patrick's day and want to send him a happy birthday, at Basic Mountain's the place to be.
That was a while ago.
Yep. Well, you can
It
do
would
it
no
now.
longer be relevant.
You can still do it, and his phone will probably have to be shut off, and it'll
My
be
phone
great.
is already off.
Well, when you turn it on, there will be a few notifications then. Now won't there? Hashtag SCGATL too. Throw that in there.
How old were you when you had your last birthday party as a child? When you were still a minor?
24. That's
Okay.
not true. That's not true. I'm not sure, actually.
I mean, your parents threw you a party. How old were you?
Oh, that wasn't really a thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that was never really a
Same.
thing. There was a place I grew up. It was like a Chuck E. Cheese. It was called Mark's Fun Times Pizza Palace that had the X-Men game, so I went there a couple times. That's about it. Master of the Unseen here for Lively. Anderson going to sacrifice a fetch land.
A colleague and I, a couple years ago, we worked together in game design. We have the same birthday.
No.
Not the same actual day of birth, but the same, birthday. And I sarcastically / jokingly suggested we went to Chuck E. Cheese for a group birthday lunch. We actually did end up there. Do not recommend it. Got to cut you off right there. Not sponsoring the Open Series.
No, not gonna.
I don't know when the last time that ball pit's been cleaned, but it's been too long.
That implies that you were in the ball pit.
Just saying.
And I'm sure there's not like, in food service, they have consistent updates and charts and graphs about when it's checked and cleaned. I can't imagine they have that at the local Chuck E. Cheese for the ball pit. No, I don't think that happens.
Chuck E. Cheese's appear to be part of some sort of regulatory inefficiency where, the ball pit can just be a disease laboratory and there's really no consequence.
We'll see what turn 3 here brings for Lively. Does he have a morph? He does. It could be anything. And we're going to find out what it is here in just a moment. It was a hidden Dragon Slayer. Murderous Cut will take care of that.
And already Todd off to a pretty rough start. His hand is land heavy. That's obviously not helpful, but turn 2 mastery from Lively puts a lot of pressure on Todd to get off to a good start, to be attacking early. And his hand's all reactive and land heavy. And assuming Lively has land number 4, which he does, this is trouble.
A mount in the draw here for Anderson. Lively's going to sacrifice that Flooded Strand. I think we might see another Canopy Vista here in just a moment, and perhaps a Master of the Unseen activation. A little manifest action here in just a moment. Anderson does have a copy of Exert Influence in his hand. That's going to be working overtime here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Lively's going to have a lot of creatures.
Yeah. Jacob will draw.
Taking just one is not going to be worth all that much.
Not quite. And Jeskai Charm going to put that card on top. And this is Anderson's best attempt to stave off elimination. He does get to, I believe he does get to find out what that is, which was a Den Protector, yeah. There's a Forest. And an Archangel Tithes. Well, that's
Sure, whatever.
I mean, that's worth taking.
Yeah.
This might be a way for him to win. No guarantees, obviously, but
It's not an easy card for Lively to remove off of the other side of the table. So that's something. It's not just any threat. It's something that slows down Lively's development a little bit and is not an easy threat for him to remove.
I don't know if it's going to be good enough, but with this and maybe, like a top deck Manish Rider or Dragon Lord Ochitai, he might be able to steal this game by flying in the air, because right now we're working our way in another late game. This is exactly where Lively wants to be. Todd's on quite a few lands at this point, unfortunately for him. Archangel's going to come across in the air. But the sizing on that threat is pretty important. It being a 3/5 means Hidden Dragon Slayer can't kill it. There are some positives here.
The issue here is until Anderson backs it up with anything, it's really just 3 points of damage a turn.
Yeah.
Lively's going to be able to make that up easily off of Master of the Unseen triggers, assuming he's, reasonably lucky here.
I'm going to get back Hidden Dragon Slayer. And gain a life so long as he does remember with his mastery triggers. Here's an attack for 3. It's 15 all. Now, the weird thing, kind of, is you only have to pay the toll at Archangel of Ties when it's untapped. So it's tapped and attacked last turn, so no mana needs to be paid.
It's good. It's good flavor that way. When it's threatening you is when you have to be paying extra to operate.
Yes. A flavor positive.
Yeah.
Time to untap and draw. Anderson going to sacrifice Bloodstained Mire. He needs some real help here.
Interesting to see. I think Lively had an opportunity that turn to play Wingmate Rock, which seems pretty attractive. Deck lists are public in the elimination rounds, and there's no copies of Ojutai's command in Anderson's list. Only 2 copies of Disdainful Stroke to really slam him there. And that's assuming Anderson brought him in. That seems unlikely to me. So I don't know what Lively has as leftovers. It's possible that he has something like, you know, Valorous stands and he wants to activate Mastery. We'll find out in a moment.
Here comes the Archangel again. Stratus Dancer was the draw. Battlefield Forge here. Now, the nice thing about Stratus Dancer, you don't know if the text is going to come up as far as countering a kind of an instant or sorcery like a non-creature spell, but it's a flyer.
It's the path that Anderson has right now.
Yeah, because this is the only way he can go.
Which is hope that Lively's hand is just slow somehow, can't interact in the air, and that's good enough. It's a long ball shot, but it's the best thing Anderson has got going on.
There's a Mastery activation. What's next here? I believe this is all in response to the morph. So we'll confirm what modes are being played here by Lively on this Dromoka's command.
I mean, there had to be something going on for 2 mana here. Oh, I get it. Okay. Putting a counter here so Hidden Dragon Slayer can knock it off. I assume. Or this is a really bad misclick. Going to give Lively the benefit of the doubt.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, too. He's in the top 4, and I think he's getting ready to move on to the final. This was very smart play by Jacob Lively. Very smart play.
Yeah, heads up. That was the last real thing he needed to contain was the Archangel of Tides.
Yep.
And now Anderson needs to draw it very well. Even Treasure Cruise into powerful cards, he's still going to struggle to keep up with everything in the short term, and then still has to beat Master of the Unseen at some point.
Plains to the draw to go along with the Flooded Strand, and that's going to do it. Jacob Lively going to win this match here over Todd Anderson, 2-1. Green-White Megamorph is going to take care of Jeskai Black. Not another Open Series win there for Anderson, but quite a few Open Series points to solidify himself to qualify for the Players' Championship. But the story here is Jacob Lively, who is moving on to the finals and playing his Green-White Megamorph deck quite well.
Yes, and still a very successful weekend for Todd. A lot of Open Series points, I believe 15 at the final tally.